For those of you who have attended college, how many of you enjoyed receiving a bill in the mail for $3,000 to $14,000 just in tuition? Not to mention the cost of textbooks that could cost up to $1,000. For those of you who did not attend college, you might have children who attended and were stuck with their college bills. I am speaking on this subject because I am one of those students who is overwhelmed with the expenses of college. If you have not previously experienced the stress of college bills, there will probably be a time throughout your college career when you will have to evaluate where all of your money is going. Today, I will be discussing why textbooks are such a big part of college expenses and how students are required to buy the latest new version of the textbook, how access codes are making textbook prices increase, and how students' grades are being affected because they refuse to purchase the textbooks. I will also inform you of several solutions that will decrease the prices of textbooks. College students are required to spend a fortune each year on textbooks. Some professors are making it a requirement to purchase the new version of the textbooks for the class. According to usatoday.com, PIRG, which stands for Public Interest Research Group, says publishers use a set of tactics to drive prices skyward, such as releasing new editions every 3 to 4 years, regardless of the changes in the subject material. According to studentpirgs.org, the University of Los Angeles conducted a study on how the current practices of the publishing industry drive up the cost of college textbooks and reported that most of the faculty members surveyed in the report do not think of the many add-ons and useful and are supportive of efforts to streamline the textbook cost and extend the shelf life of current textbook editions. The requirement to purchase access codes for each class is making the overall price of textbooks increase. Oftentimes, access codes are sold with the textbooks, which boosts the overall price of the textbooks tremendously. According to theatlantic.com, the average cost of an access code for one class is approximately $100. Another thing to consider is that these codes are usually only available at the campus bookstore, and they are typically more expensive than most buying textbooks on the website. When the semester is over, the student will not be able to resell their access codes, and they will not be able to give that to another student to use because it expires after the end of the semester. This becomes an issue when a student fails a class or needs to drop a class because they would have to repurchase another access code. The student will also not be able to pass the material on to another friend or sibling. The price of the mandatory material for the class is causing students to reevaluate their choices of courses. According to David Anderson, executive producer of the higher education at the Association of American Publishers, students might not be taking a course with the best professor or a course that they would really like to because the course material costs so much. Textbooks are not only hurting their wallets, but they're also hurting their grades and their academic decisions. Okay, now I'm going to go to the presentation. According to CBSNews.com, despite growing online markets for discounted books, the average cost of college textbooks has risen 4 times faster than the rate of inflation over the past 10 years. That has caused 65% of students to skip buying required text at some point in their college career because of the lack of affordability. And here's my graph that represents that data. So here is the price in dollars, and here is the time, and this is over a 10-year period. The red line represents the textbook cost, and the blue line represents inflation. And 10 years ago, the cost of a textbook would have been $125, and today it could be up to $275 for the same textbook. So it's almost just twice as expensive as the original textbook. Since I've informed you of the problems that college students are facing when purchasing textbooks, you should now have a better understanding of the need of a change. I will inform you of the possible solutions of lowering the cost of textbooks and making them more affordable to college students. In order for course material to be more affordable for students, professors should allow their students to choose from several different options of accessing the course material. Professors should allow their students to use the access codes in material that is accessible to them as long as the text is specifically for that class. Students should be allowed to use the textbooks of other students who have already taken the class. That way, they would not have to spend money on new textbooks. When deciding which material the professor will choose for the class, he or she could choose a more affordable option. By encouraging students to purchase or borrow textbooks from other students, despite how old the version may be, then students would be more apt to using their textbooks. In some classes, it would be fine for the professor to create and teach his own material to the class, as long as it meets the standards of the class. Libraries should accept donations from previous students who have taken the class and allow students to check out the books, which would save them a lot of money so they wouldn't have to purchase the textbooks themselves. By using some of the resources such as the library or the textbooks from peers who have previously taken the class, students should have no problem getting the resources that they need. If professors require textbooks that are more affordable, then students will be more likely to buy the textbooks. By enforcing these new ways to save money on textbooks, students should be more equipped to excel in the classroom. Students will also no longer feel embarrassed due to their lack of financial resources to purchase the textbooks. I believe that students and parents should be aware of the outrageous cost of course materials and take a stand to improve and impose a new plan to reduce the cost of textbooks. If parents and students adopt new ways and cut back on the cost of textbooks, then schools could adopt these solutions and make course material more affordable. The community could either make financial donations of used textbooks to the library so that students could use those resources and still be successful in the classroom. As you can easily see, there is a major problem with the high prices of textbooks for college students. By adopting some of these solutions that I have previously mentioned, as well as making donations to the libraries, students should now have a more affordable college experience. Imagine you or your child going to college on the first day as a freshman and getting very excited about purchasing the new class material and textbooks from the campus bookstore. However, as your child enters the campus bookstore and looks at the process of the required textbooks, all of his or her enthusiasm disappears. Your child then begins to worry how he or she can afford these textbooks, or how he or she will be disappointed to return home and inform this to their parents. Think of how much relief you could obtain by knowing that you or your child will not be ripped off with these textbook prices and will be able to use the resources that you already have in order to save hundreds of dollars. Now that you have been informed of the high prices of textbooks, I can imagine that you are feeling a bit uncomfortable with the amount of money you have spent on college textbooks and are frustrated that you have not previously been informed of these alternate solutions. You can now provide guidance to fellow college students who are struggling to afford textbooks or course materials. Thank you.